This week, we saw smart aleck leftists out enforce smugly patronizing conservatives who criticized Facebook's Trump ban on First Amendment grounds. Don't they even understand the Constitution? The First Amendment doesn't apply to private companies, they pompously droned. But they're the ones who don't understand the Constitution. The Constitution, America itself, is built on an idea that is under assault right now from Facebook, from the rest of big tech, and from the Biden regime. That idea is the decentralization of power. No one should be overmighty. Power should be dispersed. That's the way to prevent tyranny. The concentration of power is the enemy of freedom. That's the whole point of the Constitution. Checks and balances, separation of powers, federalism, all of it, designed to avoid too much power in too few hands. Well, look what we have today. Unprecedented power over what we can read, see, hear, say, think, in the hands of 4 or 5 people in Silicon Valley. An unprecedented power grab now underway from the Biden regime, brazenly exploiting the pandemic to centralize control over every aspect of our lives through a bigger and bigger federal government. Both these concentrations of power must be confronted and defeated. Big tech must be confronted and defeated. By buying or killing off the competition, whether that's new startups or old media like local papers, Mark Zuckerberg deliberately set out to control public debate while pretending it was all just a way to bring people together. Zuckerberg told our own Dana Perino he wouldn't be an arbiter of truth. That was a lie. Facebook literally operates what it calls a fact-checking program, except it's not fact-checking, it's degenerated into censoring opinions that don't fit a narrow left-wing elitist groupthink. Zuckerberg says he's not making editorial judgments, that Facebook is just a politically neutral platform. That's a lie. Zuckerberg directly meddled in the last election to help Biden by making an editorial judgment to cover up Biden family corruption. No reasonable person would disagree that the judgmental, monopolistic monster that Facebook has become is incompatible with an open, pluralistic society. Now, with this Trump fiasco, Zuckerberg lied again with his punt to a politically independent oversight board. It's about as politically independent as Pelosi. It's a ghastly collection of sanctimonious global busybodies, from the former Social Democrat Prime Minister of Denmark to the ex-editor of The Guardian, to the head of PEN America, Suzanne Nossel, whose descent into Orwellian authoritarianism is now complete with her call for state-run censorship in the name of free speech. Enemies of democracy like her are right at home at Facebook. It's obvious Zuckerberg is a maniac who needs to be stopped. There's not even political disagreement about that. The question is, how should Zuckerberg be stopped? To understand that, we need to understand what kind of maniac he is. And the answer? He's a megalomaniac. All he cares about is power, making Facebook bigger because that makes his power bigger. He doesn't care if he's regulated. He wants to be regulated. He wants us to focus on things like Section 230. He'd love Congress and state governments to spend the next 10 years bogged down in endless haggling over footling regulatory changes. Zuckerberg can afford it. He's got an army of lawyers and lobbyists. So while the politicians and bureaucrats fiddle with regulations, Zuckerberg's power grows. Facebook is now closing in on 3 billion users. Silicon Valley has jargon for all this. They call it network effects. Network effects sounds so bloodless and benign. It means that the bigger the size of your network, the more valuable it is. But it's not benign. It is a cynical, self-serving justification for monopoly. Republicans must wake up. The only thing Zuckerberg, like all the big tech CEOs, fears is loss of power, the breakup of their empire. That's why it's the only thing we should be focused on, breaking up big tech. And not just forcing Facebook to sell the companies it should never have been allowed to buy in the first place, like Instagram and WhatsApp. Break up big tech into tiny pieces. There should be at least as much competition in social media as the rest of the media, and we shouldn't stop till we get it. It's the same prescription for big government. Has Biden even read the Constitution he swore to defend? The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. So what's Biden doing? The federal government metastasizing into areas that are reserved for the states and the people. It is fundamentally un-American and literally unconstitutional. Republicans must resist all this, or America will be unrecognizable. Instead, Republicans oppose Biden's bills in Congress, then quietly take the money and brag about it back home. Some of them are even joining the outrageous revival of earmarks in the federal budget, pushing for pork alongside the Democrats. Hey, Republican members of Congress, you were sent there to cut spending, not grow it, to give power to the people, not big government. Republicans in the states must fight back too. When Biden takes power, you lose it. Be like Montana. They're rejecting the Biden stay-at-home payments that would mean around half of Montana's workers make more by not working. Be like Ohio. They're suing over the tax cut ban in Biden's blue state bailout. Be like Arkansas, fighting back too. Their attorney general joins us tonight. Biden has no mandate for any of this. Anyway, he ran as a moderate, but he's ruling like Bernie. It is undemocratic, unconstitutional, and un-American. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave, not a welfare state from cradle to grave. Our Constitution insists that power be separated, not concentrated. No one should be overmighty. Not the president, not the Congress, not the government, not the bureaucrats, not the unions, not big business, not big tech. So protect the American dream. Break up big tech. Resist big government. Get up off your knees, Republicans, and fight to save the country we love. Follow us at Steve Hilton X and at NextRevFNC and share this message.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.